drive to right field. This ball is gone. Gone and into the history books.
The Seattle Mariners, Felix Hernandez, the 2-2. He got it! 34 years, 119 games. It's finally happened. A perfect game by a Seattle Mariner. It was done by the King.
And the 0-1 pitch on the way to Edgar Martinez. Swung on and line down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my. And they are going crazy at the Kingdom.
Welcome to the Corner of Edgar and Dave, your Seattle Mariners baseball fan podcast. I'm Jacob, here with my brother Nick, and it's been a few weeks. We're getting towards the middle of June here. The Mariners are in a nice deadlock for trying to break a 500 record. They finally got themselves back up to 500 until losing today against the Marlins, but still winning the series. They're so sitting in fourth place in the American League West at a nice 33-34. What do you think about that, Nick?
I feel very skeptical about that. Unfortunately, my faith in the 2023 Seattle Mariners has rapidly deteriorated over the last 66 games.
So you're like pretty locked in then with what Mariners Twitter is looking like, because it's just meltdown city.
Humor. Yeah, it's pretty humor meltdown mode over here for most days when I watch the Mariners.
Yeah, it's the same problems we knew that were going to be problems at the beginning of the season, right? It's like we didn't bring in any more hitting, and we can't hit. Yeah. You know, we're one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. You know, up there and up the top, like top 10 in ERA, up there, and don't give up a lot of home runs, anything like that. So, but the hitting is bottom 5 in baseball.
Yeah, when you look at what the Mariners try to do during the offseason going into this season, the year 2023 season, it looks like they tried to rebuild the Mariners 2022 roster with different players. Obviously, they brought in Tio and they brought in Colton Wong as their big additions, and they almost felt like they didn't try to improve the team, and they're just trying to rebuild the identity that the previous team had. Tio being Mitch Haniger, Colton Wong being Adam Frazier, right? But neither of those guys had very good years last year, and neither of these new guys are having very good years this year. And at this point, the Mariners need to go out and probably acquire, at the trade deadline, a big bat or two if they want to be relevant in October.
I know we've said that we feel cursed before, but why does it feel so cursed that whatever our big signings or big trades or whatever that's oh, this is the next piece, the piece that's going to get us to the next level, just doesn't pan out, right? It's oh, last year make a trade to get Jesse Winker. You're bringing in a guy who's an all-star and a former first-round pick, yada, yada, right? And then it's oh, you're bringing in Teoscar Hernandez, who I actually feel we probably shouldn't be hating on too much anymore. He's definitely, at this point in the season, not one of our worst hitters. Yeah, but he's not living up to the fact that he's a 2-time Silver Slugger, right? You're thinking you're getting a 2-time Silver Slugger against Teoscar?
Yes, because I held out on him on my fantasy team for 50 games, and then I decided to drop him. What did he do? He decided to start hitting an OPS plus 175 hitter, getting to 722 OPS after his game today, and absolutely making me look like a clown for dropping him and holding him for as long as I did.
Yeah, I was totally thinking about that the other day, actually, because I was thinking about how you tried to trade me him earlier in the season. And I was dang, dang, I really wish I made that trade. But unfortunately, my outfield's pretty locked in anyways. But that's how I feel, though, about Taylor Walls. This is totally sidetracking us now. But that's how I feel about Taylor Walls, where it's he started off so hot this season and then has really been slumping. His batting average is down to 211, but he's still by average, because of how good he was earlier in the season, one of the best, shortstops. Plus, he can play multiple positions. There's too much fantasy talk. But yeah, I'm afraid to drop him because then I think he's gonna shoot off like a rocket again. Speaking of shooting off like a rocket, shooting and speeding off like a rocket. Is it like depressing that we're not even 100 games into the season and we're like totally have given up? Do you think that's like fair? Like, should this season be given up on? It kind of
No,
made me
of course
think, and I
not.
was wondering where it's like last year,
Yeah,
we did it, we got over the hurdle, but
yeah.
wasn't there it accompanied by like a crazy win streak in the middle of the season? Like, I feel like we're gonna need another one of
Was.
those where we just go on like a bonkers like 10-game plus win streak, which I don't even know how likely those are. Like, what are the odds? That any
So
team goes on a 10
unfortunately,
10-game win streak in a
the
season, but
2023 season has played out very differently for the Mariners than the 2022 season has, and the team identity just doesn't feel as cohesive as it did last year. The chemistry doesn't feel as good. The players aren't playing off each other like they did last year. Last year, you could feel it. You could feel that something was ready to give, and the Mariners were ready to take that next step into becoming like a fantastic organization or having a fantastic year and breaking the streak, right? But when I watch the Mariners this year, I don't feel that. They just don't feel like the same. They're not playing with the same energy. Something is wrong here. I don't know if you
I don't
felt
know
that,
though.
but
Are
I
we dooming
don't
them too
feel
early?
good.
Because
Oh, I
think
don't
about
know.
this though. The what was the win streak last year? Was it like 19 games or something crazy like that?
I think it was 18.
18
It was a
games?
lot.
Didn't
It was
it?
a lot.
It didn't happen. It didn't start until July, or it started like June 30th. Because I
And it started in
remember
June, like mid-June.
no. It started like June 30th because I remember I went to the Padres game, and the Padres game that we went to on July 4th was like the fourth win or the fifth win or something like that. So it started. The majority of the win streak was in July, and that's what really like sent us. Like I feel like we were kind of like a middling team, around a
Yeah.
500 team like we are right now, and then all of a sudden the win streak comes off, and like those don't come around every day. You can't get you can't just wish
Okay,
yourself
but
into an 18-game win streak.
the
Then all of a sudden it
largest
goes like
difference
boom, we're second place the rest of the year.
the largest difference between this year and last year has less to do with the Mariners and more to do with the identity of the AL West in general. When you look at what's happening when you look at what was happening last year, the Mariners were always playing in second place behind the Astros, who were just leagues ahead of everybody else in the division. But this year, there are four competitive teams in the AL West, which
Oh,
is
so you're
basically a
counting the
14
Mariners as
division.
competitive then?
Um, I mean, I am.
No, I know
but
what you're
they're
saying,
the
right?
least
It's like,
competitive of those four teams. Like
yeah, we
there are
only had to
three
like
teams in the
catch
division
one
playing better.
team. Yeah, we only had to catch one team before. Now we have to catch. It's harder. It's gonna be harder to jump three teams. Like, even if you do well, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
rely on all three of those teams scuffling, or at least two of those teams scuffling, just to get a wild card, right?
And I mean, the Rangers are like
Even
unbeatable
if
right now.
we
I
do
don't
get
I
a
don't know
wild
how this
card.
happens. I'm so like awestruck by the Rangers right now. Which
Well, think about
I
this
mean,
though.
I
They
almost
always
shouldn't
had the hitting. They always had the
Yeah.
hitting. They just needed the pitching, and they finally kind of had some of their like young pitchers come around. And like
Yeah.
last year too is like, think about it. Semien and Seager had like slump years last year, and so
Yeah.
like to have them back, and like actually playing good baseball, like
Well, I think one of the most interesting things about that is actually during the September August months, Seager and Semien both had really good months. So
yeah,
you
they
could
got hot
kind
at
of
the end of the
tell
year, right? Yep, and
you
they were
could
coming
kind of tell
around.
that they would be hot going into the next year
Yeah,
if
they
you
started
did
to
the
come.
same thing 6 months later.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I remember they were starting to come around.
Yeah. I don't know. The Rangers are somehow the scariest team in the AL West. The Astros.
Really, I maybe it's just the Astros name, but they still like scare me more.
I get that. No,
Although I
I
will say
totally
that
get
we
that.
did just get absolutely dominated in a series by the Rangers. Wasn't it like the series score like 33-4 or something like that? Like
Yeah,
something
something really
ridiculous. Wait, let me
Something
look at
really,
it.
really bad.
I'll pull it up
No,
because
yeah.
that's like atrocious. Like that's like you cannot get absolutely waxed. Like that's the thing that the Mariners can never get over the hurdle of is they can never seem to beat the top team in the division. Like when it's Houston, they lose 17 of 19 games to the Houston Astros, right? When it's Texas, they literally go to Texas for a series. They lose the first game 0-2, then the next game 6-16, and then the third game 3-12. What is that? That's 9-31, or no, 9-30, 9-30 exactly.
Pretty
Like
terrible.
in the series, that's insane. And honestly, you
I
only
will
get
say-
6 runs because the Rangers scored 16, and they like kind of had to they weren't trying at that point.
I will say there are some really good like bright spots for the Mariners this year and moving forward. And realistically, at this point in the year, they have a positive run differential. They didn't have that last year.
That's a good point. Is that like their wins? That was another thing too. Is that what helped is that their wins last year is that they were really good in like 1-run games, and then they were in close games, and then they were atrocious when they lost. They lost terribly. That's kind of like, who's doing that this year is the Miami Marlins. Speaking of, who we pretty much dominated in this series until tonight.
Yeah.
Like that was honestly, that's what kind of gives me like a little bit of faith. Is like sometimes these guys just go on like a little run where they all get hot and everyone's just hitting, and it's like you can just see the potential. You can see the potential of everyone. Plus, you get like the awesome call ups and like just really honestly like surprising, like Jose Caballero just being like a huge surprise this year. Getting so much like random production out of him, especially when you like totally miss out on bringing in Colton Wong, right? Like what an absolute bust. I didn't think it was possible for real life Colton Wong to be hitting worse than my Mariners franchise Colton Wong and MLB The Show. But that's somehow happening. I think he's batting in my franchise like 180, and he's batting 153 right now. So even apparently Video Game World knew that Colton Wong was going to be an absolute bust this year.
Something that I do find really interesting going into today's game, I didn't watch today's game, so I don't know how this transitioned into the game, but Mike Ford, OPSing 1152 with OPS plus 214.
Oh yeah, I mean that's another guy. Like, is he just hot? Like, he's only it's 8 games. I just don't know what to say. Is it just like a luck? Is it like a lucky streak? But is it though? Because he was tearing up AAA. Dude, Mike Ford. That's another one I love. Like, there's nothing better in a crappy Mariners year, and this is why the Mariners are the most interesting like franchise of all time. Is they always have a story, and this is kind of like I think they said that something exactly like that in the mini Mariners documentary on YouTube. What am I thinking of? I can't remember what it's called. The Dorktown one. Is they kind of said the same thing as like the premise is like even when the Mariners are terrible, there's always something interesting going on. And like Jose Caballero and Mike Ford, at least Mike Ford in very few games. Caballero's played 40 games at this point. He's played over half the games of the season.
And he's been best player. He's been the best offensive player on the team.
Yeah, but Mike Ford in only 8 games is just absolutely crushing the ball. 4 home runs in 8 games, like just absolutely mashing. Yep. Like you said, the massive OPS. You think Jose Caballero's been our best offensive player? You're not going to give that to Jared?
It's hard to say.
Or Ty?
Realistically, still the best player we have on the team has been Julio Rodriguez. Our best offensive player, our position player, you should say, has been Julio Rodriguez.
Didn't you just tell me before the show that we were going to DFA Julio?
It's a meme.
No, that's a meme. I know it's a meme. I'm saying you're perpetrating memes, and then you turn the recording thing on, and you're like, "Oh, I don't want to be caught. I don't want to be caught saying anything of that. Nothing like that."
Disrespect Julio on the record. He's got the keys to the city. They'd lock me out of Seattle.
I mean, at least like Julio. The thing about Julio is at least he's like starting to mash, right? Starting to hit home runs.
Yeah,
I feel like there was kind of like I feel like he kind of had like a power outage to start the season, and I was like, man, is Julio? Is he gonna hit all the home? Hit enough home runs? Is he gonna keep up his amazing pace from last year? And he's kind of turning around. He's got 12 home runs now. Yeah, so not too bad. Yeah, leading the team. I don't know. They haven't announced. Obviously, the All-Star break's like a month off, so they haven't announced anything yet. I wonder if he'll be in the home run derby again.
I don't know about home run derby, but all of the Mariners are not doing well in the All-Star game voting.
Really? I was about to ask. I haven't even looked at that yet. I haven't even looked at it. That's that bad?
I haven't looked very much. I think I've only voted once on the first day, but the Mariners are doing very poorly.
Does that make us bad that we're not voting or 5 times a day? Are you happy though that the Mariners teamed up with the Padres? Did you see that on social media? The Mariners and the Padres are like working together, and it's like the fan cooperation voting, where it's like Mariners fans vote Padres and Padres fans vote Mariners because you can vote for the National League and the American League.
I'm not a fan of any of that kind of stuff. Actually,
you're not a fan, but I know. Padres, San Diego.
No, I mean I love the Padres and I love the Mariners. They're literally my 2 favorite teams. And I'm glad they're working together, as I feel like they always do. I feel like the Mariners and Padres get along.
Does it feel like cheatsy duty? Do you feel like it just should be like an honorable? It shouldn't be a fan vote. It should be an honorable contest.
It should be.
So you're feeling?
Statistics. I want the best players to be at the All-Star game. I don't care.
Well, then
who's
there's not going to be
doing
any
it.
Mariners if it's based off statistics.
Yeah, get them out of here. They suck. They don't deserve accolades.
Oh, I want to see them. You would like
You
how
know,
hilarious. I know that
one
you
of the
have to have
things-
one All-Star, but how
I
hilarious
hate
would it
that.
be?
That's what I hate. There should not be a participation trophy. For
But
the
you're
All-Star
hosting.
game.
The Mariners are hosting the All-Star game.
Yeah, and they're not playing like All-Stars. Get them out of here.
Oh, brutal. You're
You
so
know how good it would
heartless.
be to watch a fucking baseball game with 0 Seattle Mariners at T-Mobile Park?
You're so heartless. You're so heartless.
Then they need to play better.
Wow, where's the love? I didn't think that you would become the jaded one before me. Who would have thunk it? No, all the people that were betting against me, I lost those bets.
Yeah.
Tough. I'm still the optimistic one.
Well, I was feeling extremely optimistic until about 5 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago when my fantasy team decided to implode. Absolutely implode. And I haven't scored over 300 points in like 5 weeks, and I just can't win a game to save my life.
Yeah, are you like you're kind of 4 or 5 game losing streak? I mean, you lost to Sarah.
I know, and
Woof.
I'm losing to Amanda right now.
Oh man!
Team's
Wait,
actually
if the
really
Mariners are so bad, why is Amanda's fantasy team so good? She drafted only Mariners.
That is actually something me and her have talked about quite a bit. So the Mariners have been pretty ice cold.
Oh, but she has so many
Every
pitchers.
single-
She has so many of the Mariners pitchers who have been so good. That's the thing, is that like she's locked in on those starting pitching points because she's got like I know she's got Gilbert. Does she have Kirby too?
No, someone else has Kirby.
Does she have Castillo? Gilbert and Castillo?
She has someone else has Castillo. She's got Munoz, who's been down.
Okay.
Actually. I think she's only
He's back now though.
Gilbert.
But she's got all the Mariners hitters. How is that helping her out?
Okay, but basically what I'm trying to say is that now that the Mariners are facing me in our fantasy league, they're all about to go absolutely fucking nuts.
That's true. They had two. That's true. The Marlins come to town and the Mariners decide they can actually hit for a series. That's pretty funny.
Really fucking cool. And
until
now
today.
I'm behind by 40 points. Well, one of our pitchers posted 30 points, so I'm still down by 40 points today.
Dude, I'm not as down bad as you are because I'm still in like a good place with my fantasy team. But I've had so many bad beats this season where it's like there were what 2 weeks ago I lost by 1 point, and then last week I lost, or not, this was 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago I lost by 1 point. And then 2 weeks ago I lost. I was the second highest scoring team in the league, and I still lost.
You lost. That's how I felt. No, dude, I'm completely heartbroken by that week where I forgot to put my Hunter Green in, and he posted 35 points, and I lost by 18 points or something.
Oh yeah, tragic.
Absolutely tragic. I'm absolutely heartbroken. Send your thoughts and prayers. Press F to pay respect. Do all the fucking things. I can't fathom a world where my life could be going worse.
I'm the highest points in the league so far this week, and I didn't play. I didn't start 22 points worth of JT Real Muto.
Oh, you missed out on his.
Yeah, I did. I missed out on his back-to-back games, his cycle game and his 2 home run game. He had 10 points, and then he had 11, and then he had 12 points the next day. And I meant to put him in the next day after he had 10 points, but I forgot.
So unfortunately, the Atlanta Braves absolutely fucking hate me and have decided that now that Travis d'Arnaud's back, they're not putting in Sean Murphy anymore. He's like literally Sean Murphy's playing like 40% of the games. And Sean Murphy was my best producing position player for like the first.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, he's fallen off hard.
But they're literally. It's not even that he's fallen off. They're just not playing him. They've just decided they like Travis d'Arnaud more, and I don't get it because Sean Murphy's been like the most productive offensive catcher in baseball.
Yeah. Is it a bad sign that our Mariners podcast discussion has devolved into fantasy baseball? Because does that say anything about the Mariners season? There's just like not enough interest to hold on to. It's always like, it feels like 2 steps forward or 1 step forward, 2 steps back the whole season. Is this being reflected in the conversation?
I don't know. I just feel really annoyed with the Mariners, like specifically the Mariners offense at this point in the year. I mean, there's been a lot of talk of J.P. Crawford and how this is like the J.P. Crawford renaissance, and he's OPS plusing 101. He is 1% better than the average baseball player with a bat right now. Is he really that good? Is this the guy that we're going to be talking up every game? And Ty France is like hitting 280 with no power. He's killing me. Ty France needs to play a lot better defense or hit the ball a lot harder to
I haven't
be on
noticed.
my
Has Ty
game.
France made a lot of errors this season?
Not particularly, but he's not exactly Evan White with the glove, right?
Yeah, I guess. I thought he's been a pretty good. Like, I feel like he should have won the Gold Glove like 2 years ago during the COVID season, but he did
absolutely.
it. So I don't know. I feel like he's a pretty good glove, but
I think that
he's
was actually
definitely the
last year,
highest.
there's-
He's the
yeah.
highest average hitter on the team. Batting
Yeah.
280. I get that
But
you're
he's
saying
not
like there's not a
exactly
lot
a
of power,
speedster.
but
There's not a lot of power, and he's not exactly an on-base threat. And the
It's-
Mariners are incapable of hitting in someone from first.
it's so funny.
I don't think I've seen the Mariners hit someone in from first all year, and it's definitely not going to be Ty France.
Yeah, they're not finding the alleys, not finding the gaps to drive in those runs all the way. And then you have to string, and that's the suck. I think it sucks, right? Because then you have to string multiple hits together. It's not even like, oh, you can get 2 hits and score. It's like you have to get 3 hits just to score 1 run, right? When you can't, when you don't have any speed on the base paths. I always have to change Ty France's speed every single year. His speed and his steal stat, because they're always so trash. Like San Diego Studios hates Ty France, and they think he's like he's slow as dirt. So I always have to bump his speed up. They always give him like 5 speed and 0 stealing, and I bump it up to like 30.
I mean, he's slow, dude. He's super slow.
Yeah, but I can't stand watching him. There's nothing more painful than watching a slow runner in MLB The Show. It hurts.
Yeah,
It hurts my soul.
Agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Hurts my soul. So how you feeling about Eugenio Suarez? I know that you've been a full Gino guy. Are you finally giving up on Gino? Is he not the answer anymore? I just know you're a Gino lover.
I haven't given up on Gino. He hasn't had the power that you'd like to see. No. God damn it! 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, how many? He's only at 7 home runs. I mean, I guess 7 over 66 games. What's the percentage on that? Okay, I just realized there's kind of be 2 parts of this podcast, sort of, because I just realized that as I was typing to figure out how many average home runs or how many home runs Gino's expected to hit this year based on how many he's hit so far in the first 67 games, that I muted myself. So basically the conclusion we came to is Gino's only expected to hit 16 home runs, which seems really depressing. I did bring a stat to your attention, Nick.
Are you going to cut that footage, or is that just going to be in there of me talking to myself for 5 minutes?
No, I'm not going to put you talking to yourself for 5 minutes in there.
Okay, then I just want it to be known, because this is really important.
Yeah, do it.
If the Mariners fail by the end of the season and they don't get to, I'm going to say if they don't get to 500 by the end of the year,
they're only 1 under 500.
If they don't get over 500.
Okay.
We're gonna rebrand, and this is gonna become a Pirates/Reds broadcast.
Yeah. I did say that hurts me that you don't want to support the sporting NL Central Brewer rivals, but that's fine. Anyway, though, but Gino, I was telling you that you hadn't seen today's game yet, where Gino had 3 essentially warning track outs to the deepest part of the park, three outs over 370 feet, which I think I saw on Twitter was I think was it Ryan Divish on Twitter said it was the first time a player's ever had 3 outs in the same game of 372 plus feet. So that sucks. He's just unlucky. And then you told me, and I was like, that happens to me in MLB The Show all the time, where I'll like get a hold of one, and the announcers will make it sound like I crushed it, and it's gonna be out of the park, and then it gets caught. And then you were telling me that people say that on the subreddit all the time, the MLB The Show subreddit.
Yep. And I love Gino. I really do.
It only took me 2 minutes to summarize 5 minutes of talking.
Gino's really been one of my favorite personalities on the Mariners for a long time. And in particular, I love that he loves his wife, and he wants everybody to know about it all the time, to the extent that me and my girlfriend Amanda talk about Gino and do a Gino voice all the time, where it's basically just us going.
Wait, are you talking about like post-game interviews? I've never seen these. I never pay attention.
Stop what you're doing right now and go load up Gino's Twitter and Gino's Instagram. And
I can't type. I'm afraid of muting myself again.
Okay, do it after the end of the show, and everybody.
Okay, I'll just check
watching
for the
should
meeting.
do
You
this.
can talk and I'll search.
Everybody who's watching should do this because it's just him going. I hit that ball so well because of my loving wife. My loving wife and our 2 kids. I love them so much. They're so beautiful. My
That's-
beautiful wife.
That's your Gino Suarez voice?
Well, I got a little bit of a sickness going
Oh,
right
that's
now.
terrible. You're
My
hilarious.
beautiful wife.
Oh, you're gonna blame it on being sick?
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
Wow.
it's
Wait,
not
what is
Gino's
his
ever
what
gonna
is his
hear this.
Twitter handle? I googled Gino Suarez Twitter, and it's
Maybe
giving me
he
a bunch
doesn't
of
have a
parody
Twitter.
accounts.
Maybe he doesn't have a Twitter, but whatever social medias he uses are literally just him posting pictures.
Are you on Instagram?
paragraphs? Yeah.
Oh wow, you're an Instagrammer, huh? Didn't know that about you.
No, Amanda is.
Oh, she just shows you the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? Gabby shows me fun stuff from TikTok all the time. I don't want to be a TikToker, so I don't have TikTok, but Gabby will, show me the fun stuff. If there's
Yeah, I
something
get the
really
cool
good.
Mariners TikTok stuff too from Amanda as well.
Nice. Gabby was obsessed with the Seattle Kraken season. Like the Seattle Kraken got really into like book talk because I guess there's this one author that writes these like steamy books about hockey, and she
Oh, what do you mean by steamy? Really quickly.
I don't know, like steamy books. Like they're books about girls and
They're very
guys
sensual
being together.
hockey books.
Being together. That's not the point. But yeah, they're sensual hockey books. But
Okay.
apparently it came out that she was imagining a Seattle Kraken player when she wrote those books. And so the Seattle Kraken, if you followed their TikTok, they'd be posting like the book talk thirst traps all the time of like all the players, and they like really got into with the book talkers. And they even had this one like book talk girl where they like flew her out and had her sit front row because she like watched a hockey game and like live streamed it for her first time ever like watching a sports contest basically
So
because she
this
just
is
wanted
gonna
to see the
sidetrack
hot
me.
hockey boys.
This is going to sidetrack me really hard, but as you know, I've been reading a lot, or listening to a lot of audiobooks lately. Have you been reading any books or listening to audiobooks lately?
No, the last book I read was last summer.
Oh, it was a book called Last Summer, or you?
No, I read it during last summer. It was called The
Oh.
Cuban Affair. It was very interesting. It was about a former U.S. Army person who was like a ship captain who's helped
okay.
someone try and steal some gold out of Cuba. Pretty.
I just recently
Pretty
finished
interesting.
the Dark Tower books, and so I've climbed to the top of the Dark Tower and seen the mysteries of the universe, and I now know it all, and I now
Oh.
know how to get the Mariners to the Promised Land.
Okay, how you gonna do that? How you gonna do it? You are Jerry DePoto. You're Freaky Friday into Jerry DePoto's body. How do you do it?
So first, I go to the Seattle Mariners hitting coach and I say, "Tell them to hit the ball." And
What?
then they start
That's not
hitting
gonna
the
work.
ball. Yeah. No. of
That's
course
a
not.
terrible idea. That's a terrible
What
idea.
are you
That's not gonna
talking
work.
about? Oh, come on.
That's not gonna work at all. You can't just be like, "Oh, okay, you guys gotta start hitting."
So
You have to like, do you
the
change the
Mariners
hitting
thing is
coach?
big.
Do you change the approach? Are they
I don't
not? Are they
know.
getting away from the approach? Like, I know Scott Service has always been a like control the zone guy and like take a lot of pitches. But the
I've seen a
Mariners
lot
have
of people
struck
hate on
out.
the control the zone thing. I think it's really funny.
Also, I'm just saying, but like, haven't the Mariners like struck out a lot? Like, haven't they struck out
Yeah.
more than anyone else?
Absurd
And
amount. It's not even close.
4 of our players are in the top 5 of like strikeouts.
Yeah, I don't know. They need to be putting better wood on the ball, especially in 2-strike counts. They just need to get
Let me see. I guess the Mariners are not last in
get the
strikeouts.
bat to the ball.
The Twins and
Really?
the Giants are. Oh wait, yeah, the Twins and the Giants are worse than the Mariners in strikeouts. But the Mariners have 4 of the top 5 strikeout guys, right? It's like Julio, Gino, Teoscar, and Kelenic, maybe.
Yeah.
You know who I love though? It's Cal Raleigh, man. I mean, he's only batting like .211, but he's out there trying his hardest. He's hitting big bombs from the left hand side, playing good
Hits big
defense.
bombs.
Probably the best defensive catcher in baseball.
Oh, you
Just
think
being an
so?
absolute
He has been
stud.
really good. He has been really good this year. I've loved watching him play. Although he hasn't been very productive with the bat. OPS plus
Yeah.
99.
Yeah, I mean that's around league average. So like, he's at league average with a bat. He hits clutch home runs. Like, dude, his clutch rating in MLB The Show, if it's not 99, it needs to be. I feel like who is more clutch than Cal Raleigh? I don't know.
The Mariners or in general?
Yeah, and the Mariners, yes.
Gino was super clutch last year.
Yeah, well, Gino's been actually clutch this year. Isn't he still leading the team in RBIs? So I mean, he's hitting 219, but he's leading the team in RBIs. So
Has 38 ribbies. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's pretty clutch. That's pretty clutch. Jose Caballero, though, dude, that dude is clutch. Are we? I mean, I don't know if we're gonna go back. We can't go back and do the whole Jose Caballero thing again. But like, if we're talking about clutchness, like that could be the dude. Like he could be like, if not the second baseman, like I wonder if he could be like a third baseman, like the next Kyle Seager, where he's just super clutch, tons of RBIs, really good defense at third base.
I mean, I do think the Mariners are going to have to move away from Gino at some point. I mean, his contract is up not after this year, but after the year after this.
Yeah.
And I think the Mariners need to find someone a little more staple or a little more.
Do you think they could teach Shohei to play third base on his non-pitching days?
I hope so. I hope we find a way to put
just get him in the field.
Shohei Ohtani on our roster, and 2 playing all 9 positions at the same time.
That would be sick. No, but we need Jared and Julio.
No,
and Cal. Cal's gonna catch. You don't need Ohtani to catch. You don't need No, you don't need Ohtani to catch. You don't need him to catch. You can't pitch and catch at the same time.
I love that you definitively think that we will be picking up Shohei Ohtani after this.
I mean, he's gonna be a free agent. I don't know about definitively. I wouldn't say that, but I think it'd be, he's learned the errors of his ways. Like, I should have gone with the Mariners the first time. It was between the Mariners and the Angels. Should have gone with the Mariners the first time. So that's where he's going to go back to. It's going to be like the prodigal son returning to where he always should have called home.
Okay, I agree with you, but unfortunately, you know that we're living in like the darkest fucking timeline of all time
that's true.
right now.
That's true. The Mariners are cursed.
I think the Angels are about to make the playoffs, kicking the Mariners out of the playoff contention with 3 or 2 or 1 game left in the season, and then he's gonna re-up his contract for 10 fucking years.
That would be devastating.
They made the fucking playoffs this year.
That would be. I mean, he's gonna get a 10-year contract, but that would just be devastating. If he ends the Mariners. Tonight I googled the schedule. I'm gonna go all the way to the end of the season and see if we play the Angels at the end of the season.
No, it's just a bunch of.
I don't know. How do you feel? I kind of hate. Yeah, it is Texas.
It's
at least Texas, Astros, Athletics. Are we done? Oh, the Angels are in the beginning of September. I kind of hate that we don't play our divisional teams more. I feel like I'm on the unpopular end of that. I like the old scheduling method where you didn't play every single National League team, but you actually played legitimate series against your conference and divisional opponents. I miss playing 19 games against the A's every year and 19 games against Texas. I was about to say that.
You're just missing not being able to play 19 games against the A's.
There's just something comfortable about playing the Angels 19 times a year, though. There's just something so comfortable. There's just something so comfortable about being dominated by the Astros 19 games a year. It's just you just know it's okay, the Astros, I'm just gonna take 3 losses, and then when you win, one of those games against the Astros, it feels so good because it feels like you really earned something and you kind of stole something from someone. Because you're this shouldn't have been mine. This win shouldn't have been mine. It should have been yours, and we've stolen it from you. I miss that.
Yeah, maybe we'll get back to it. I don't know. It's feels like a trial run. I don't know if this is the way they're going to continue to do the schedule. Because there's a lot.
Oh, really? I feel like it's going to be permanent. Just because I feel I don't know. It just seems like. I wonder if it's affected attendance at all. I wonder if the fact that we play the Cubs every single year will affect attendance, or if we play the Cardinals every single year, these National League teams that have pretty big followings, the Mets, right? Every other year, the Mets will come to Safeco. I wonder if that helps ticket sales.
If they continue to do this scheduling after we lose the season under 500 and switch to a Reds Pirates podcast, I will be able to see my Reds and Pirates at least 3 games each year for the rest of my life.
Well, unless they're on separate cycles, then it could be 6 games 1 year, 0 games the next. 6 games 1 year, 0 games the next. Depends on the cycle.
Yeah.
We've been watching a lot of Vanderpump Rules, and I think they say not to yuck your yak when you say something that bummers someone out.
I hate that a lot.
I thought the show would be so dumb, and it is really dumb, but it's honestly like hilarious. You just get so invested in like these terrible people who make terrible decisions. Honestly, they're probably not bad people, but they make the worst decisions, and it's hilarious.
You ever seen BoJack Horseman? It's the same
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. But BoJack makes me sad. This just makes me laugh.
BoJack makes me sad laugh.
Okay. Yeah, like you're laughing because you can't cry anymore. I get that.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Oh my
Alright.
gosh.
Do you have any more points you wanted to hit?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's kind of shorter than we've done, but that's a good kind of like wrap up. I'm trying to think. We didn't talk a lot about the pitching. Is there anything? I mean, the pitching has just been really good. Like we have some. That's the only thing that makes this for me hurt more than I think in other seasons.
So the pitching has been unbelievably good.
Yeah, is that like the pitching is top tier. Like this pitching staff deserves to make the playoffs. This pitching staff deserved between like Gilbert, Castillo, Kirby, even like Marco chipping in like good innings or whatever, right? Like
I mean, I think Marco looks great. Everyone's been trashing on Marco, but
yeah, but it's just popular to trash on Marco. Everyone hates Marco because he throws slow and he's a lefty.
He's 4-1.
But like Marco's goated, man. I've been telling you this for years. Like Marco is, it's gonna be retiring Felix's number and then retiring Marco's number. I think that's what hurts the most. Is like I'm trying to compare this as like why didn't it hurt more when Felix never got to be in the playoffs? And like that hurt a lot, right? That hurt a lot. But this just feels more exasperated this year because it's so many good pitchers. It's like a bunch of pitchers just having career years and then no batting to back them up. Even like the bullpen. The bullpen has been lights out. Paul Sewald's been great. Like this has been so good. The bullpen's been so good. Like everyone except Matt Brash, who honestly just kind of gets beat up a little bit. Yeah, but Flexen's also just there to get kind of beat up a little bit, right?
At this point, yeah, it seems like they've completely given up on Flexen.
Yeah, but I love that. Like I love the Mariners, Brass's ability to like seek out good bullpen arms and bring in guys like Tyler Saucedo and all those guys who's like totally lights out. Pretty good. Played a ton of games this season. Been really good for us. Like, I don't know. They always just seem to be able to like evaluate. Like, how come the evaluation of pitching talent is not up to the same level as like the evaluation of hitting talent? Like, think about it. All the additions they add on every single year in the pitching category are all fire, always hit. Even Flexen, even though he's kind of fallen off this year, has had put in like really solid years for us. So he's a huge inning eater. And then their evaluation in the trades they make on the hitting side of the ball are just not good. The Jesse Winkers, Teoscar is turning it around, but the Colton Wongs, the AJ Pollocks, the Adam Frazier, who's tearing it up this year. Isn't that Adam Frazier having a good year this year for whoever he went to?
He's OPS plusing like 135.
Yeah, it was having a great year. Like what is it about? Like that's the thing I joke about all the time. I say like we're cursed, but like what is it about just good hitters? Yeah, the Adrian Beltre effect. Just not living up to their potential or just having their career worst years in Seattle and in Safeco. Is it like really the ballpark? Is it really like the travel? Like is travel that devastating for hitters? Having so much more travel than I don't know. Like what is it?
I also think about
just trying to think about like what makes Seattle different.
I think about this a lot, and I think to me it feels like it's one of those that player really didn't want to come here, so it's reflected in their on.
Oh, like they're just not happy to be here.
Yeah.
If that's the case, though, wouldn't like wouldn't Jared Kelenic just be trash? Am I wrong to say that Jared Kelenic doesn't want to be here? I just feel like maybe I'm just like nervous. I'm just like preparing.
Playing baseball here.
Oh, you think so? I think I'm just mentally preparing the block for
that believe sign. He's like the happiest boy in the world.
That was 2 years ago.
And he's still just that happy and lovable every
wasn't that 2 years ago? Wasn't that before that the scandal? Yeah, that was before the scandal with what's his name, where he talked about how he was manipulating service time and was drunk on that town hall meeting or whatever.
Oh no, that was right after that.
That was after that? Okay. I'm just trying to remember.
That happened during the COVID year.
You know what it is I'm just like, you're right, it happened during COVID. You know what it is I'm just worried. I'm like putting up my mental guard for when Jared's
walks.
Yeah, when Jared walks. Yeah, when his what am I trying to think of? His service time comes up and he can go sign anywhere he wants. That's why it's like you said at the beginning, you're like, we need to sign Jared Kelenic to a 10-year contract, and it's like, dude, let's do it.
It is interesting because at the moment, if Jared has a fucking incredible year here and continues to perform the way he did during like the first month of the year, that would put him at Super 2 status, and we would lose a year on service time for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Honestly, like, good for him though, in the sense that he should get paid and get what he deserves. Hopefully, they just like sign him. It's like we said. Hopefully, they just sign him and everything's good. So how do we feel?
Yeah.
Well, how do we feel about Bryce Miller? Because I know he was lighting the world on fire, being amazing, and I didn't want to be a downer. I mean, no one called me out for it in the family group chat. Yeah, no one called me out for it in the family group chat. But the Yankees kind of ruined him. But like, to be fair though, so he had what, like 4 amazing starts or whatever. Was it like 3 starts where he was like the best starter in the history of baseball through first three games or something?
What you didn't realize is that during his first 2 starts, he was facing me in our fantasy league.
No, what I did realize, and I tweeted into the family group chat, was that he had played like Oakland and Kansas City and another terrible hitting team like San Francisco or something. Like he had like the worst competition in the whole world through his first 3 starts. And then Dad was like texting into the group chat. Dad was texting the group chat being like, oh, this is the future, like goodbye Marco or something like that. Because he always tries to dig at Marco to get my goat.
Yeah, he hates Marco.
I know he does that. He just loves to get my goat by hating on Marco. So he's like, Marco better pack his bags. Bryce Miller's here. And then I tweeted, I might have cursed Bryce Miller. Like I might have to take responsibility for this because I think I literally sent back in the text thread like wait till he actually faces some good pitching or some good hitting, like a team that can actually play baseball or something along those lines. And then the next start I think was like the Yankees, and he just got absolutely touched up, and he has like not been able to recapture the same magic through his like last 5 starts or whatever.
He looks okay. I mean, I like.
Yeah, I mean, he looks fine. He's solid, but he's like his ERA ballooned up to like a 4 ERA. You know, his WHIP has ballooned up to like almost 1 or getting closer up there. So it's like it's not bad, but it's not like amazing.
If he continues to pitch at the rate or at the level that he has pitched at so far, I do think going into next year, our rotation will probably be George Kirby, Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, Robbie Ray, Bryce Miller, and I do think Marco will probably be taking the interstate.
Yeah, but then Marco, as soon as someone has to have surgery again, it's like every single year Mariners can't have their whole pitching staff healthy. You know, it's not going to be Robbie Ray because we already lost him this year. So whoever we lose next year, God forbid it's like Logan Gilbert. Seems like it's probably his turn. Oh my God! Don't say that. Oh God! Don't say that to me. Don't put those thoughts in my brain. But God forbid, like knock on wood. You know, knock on wood.
What's that fucking Ricky Bobby thing? Don't you summon that demon, Ricky Bobby? No,
yeah.
That's not it. What's he say?
No, the wife says, "Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby."
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I don't want to put that out there. I'm hoping this is a reverse jinx. It's like I'm jinxing us, but because we're talking about it, it's reversing the jinx. That's what's happening here. So we're officially not jinxed. But like Marco will be able to worm his way back into the rotation. Basically, the point I'm trying to make is someone will get hurt and Marco will be like, "Okay, well, we're gonna need you for 5 months, Marco."
I mean,
it's like, okay, I'm here.
I totally hear you, but at this point in the year, we look like we got so snake bitten by not trading Chris Flexen that I don't think they'll keep Marco around for the same reason.
Oh, you're thinking they're going to trade him just to maximize his value, huh?
I mean, yeah.
Who's going to fall for that though?
Not doing the same thing twice.
Who's going to fall for that?
I mean, they almost traded Flexen to the Yankees. Are you kidding me?
Dude, Flexen is such a Yankee though. He's got Yankee vibe.
No, I totally agree. It's the clean face.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like Flexen has the kind of face of someone who could have been like on the team with Babe Ruth. Like if you put Flexen through like an old timey filter, he would just look like a normal baseball player.
Imagine there's a universe out there where we traded Chris Flexen and 2 prospects for Gleyber Torres, and we didn't have to deal with
what's gonna
5 games at the beginning of the year of Colton Wong.
You know what's going to really throw off your starting rotation estimation is when we sign Shohei Ohtani.
I agree. No,
that's going to mess up the whole thing. Like, what's going to happen then? No one's going to know. All of a sudden, you have 3 aces. We have too many aces. We have 4 aces if we have Shohei. Are we allowed to have 4 aces on the same team?
I would be very surprised if.
Would that be 5 aces if you count Robbie Ray? Like, say they signed Shohei Ohtani, would that be the greatest pitching rotation in the history of baseball? Of Shohei Ohtani, Luis Castillo, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Robbie Ray. Like, Robbie Ray is your number 5 pitcher. That would be goated. That would be the greatest pitching staff in the history of baseball.
I mean, you look at what the Mariners did in the last offseason, you got to think that they're probably going to take a stab at a
They got to get a good bat. They have to be solid because you have to make a move, especially when you finally make the postseason. But say we are just 500 the rest of the season, we don't make the playoffs, and we just play average baseball the rest of the season. You have to do something because it's like you have all these young contracts and you essentially wasted a year with them, right? You wasted a year on a cheaper Jared Kelenic. I mean, they've already signed Julio Rodriguez, but you wasted a year on cheaper Logan Gilbert, George Kirby. Yeah, exactly, right? And those are years you can't get back. So you have to make a big move because you have to win while these guys are still on manageable contracts.
What's the catcher's name too? I can't think of it.
Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cal the GOAT. Great booty daddy Raleigh.
Munoz looks like he might have a big contract when he hits free agency too.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if he's going to be like the next Sugar, where it's like once it gets to that point, we trade him for a couple pieces, key pieces.
No, I think Munoz really likes to play in Seattle, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's the next guy the Mariners lock up to a 5, 6, 7 year contract.
It seems like most people do, unless you're an old crabby veteran. But it seems like if you're a young, hip, new guy, young athlete or whatever, it's a good team vibe to play in. But if you're an old crusty guy like AJ Pollock, it's nope, this is a disaster.
I also think the Mariners might just keep Cabby around just because they're so cursed to second base. It's so
right. I would keep him around too. I think I saw a tweet earlier today that he's leading second baseman in slugging or something over a certain I can't remember if it's on the season or what it is, but he's one of the best hitting second basemen in baseball.
Not better than Jonathan India or Laboratory. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Fantasy Baseball expert. Dude, you know who's killing it for me though? I hate to say this, and I didn't have to think about him the first few months of the year, but Jose Altuve, now that he's back, absolutely goated.
He's gone again. He's on the injured list again.
He's back on the injured list? That's
not
what it says on my. He played today.
I just saw some Doomer Q shit about how Altuve's over.
He just played today.
Is that all a lie?
He played today and he went 1 for 3 and scored a run and had a stolen base.
Oh, okay.
No way he's hurt. He stole a base? No way he's hurt.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
You don't steal a base. You don't steal a base if you're hurt. You don't steal a base if you're going to the IL.
Okay.
You got debated.
I couldn't believe it myself. Somebody on the internet lied about Jose Altuve.
Absolutely debated. Have you played any Tears of the Kingdom?
No, I haven't got it.
Yeah, I haven't got it either. I haven't played the most recent Pokemon either. I haven't played Scarlet or Violet.
I've been kind of obsessed with survival horror games. I got Resident Evil 4 remake. I got the Dead Space remake. I've just been playing the shit out of those kind of games, and they're so much fun. I just can't get enough of it.
You know what I did though is I panicked. Gabby and I flew home last month for a special dinner for her dad with his company, and when we were flying on the plane, I had to open my. We were going through security here in San Diego. I had to open my Switch case and lay it flat to go through the scanner or whatever. And one of the TSA guys saw it and started asking me about what games I was playing. And he's like, "Oh, are you playing Tears of the Kingdom? Oh, are you playing Scarlet and Violet?" And I didn't want to. I feel like I maybe didn't want to sound like an idiot or someone who's not hip on games. And I was like, "No, I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom yet." And then he asked me about Scarlet and Violet, and I lied and said yes. And he's like, "Oh, have you got all the legendaries? What's your favorite?" He was like, "What's your favorite Paradox Pokemon?" And I was like, "Fuck, I don't know any of the Paradox Pokemon." And so I said the Metal Donphan. That's the only one I could think of.
That's funny. I do that kind of
Which totally worked out. It totally worked out because I said that I played Violet. He's like, "Oh, which one do you play?" And I was like, "Oh, I played Violet," which is the one where you go to you have the future Paradox Pokemon. And the Metal Dawn fan is a future Paradox, but wow, I lucked out, man. I was blessed with a little bit of lying.
I
But
love that.
it felt weird. It felt weird to lie to TSA. And then on the way,
carrying a bomb on the plane, huh?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's just like, is it that easy to get through these guys? Like, oh, you just got no. That'd be bad. I made the TSA on the way back to San Diego, leaving Seattle. I made the TSA guy. I didn't make him, but he yelled at me because he was like handing people the trays that you put your shoes and your bags in.
Ew.
And yeah, so you couldn't like grab your own, but he like something happened, so he went off to do something, and so the line kind of started to get stalled. So it was like one older lady in front of me in line, and then I was the next person in line to start putting my shoes in the bins or whatever, right? And so he left, and so I was like, oh, okay. And I just went and grabbed a bin. I grabbed a bin and gave it to the lady, and then I grabbed a bin for myself. And that's when he came back, and he's like, sir, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm just grabbing a bin. And he's like, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm handing the bins out to control the flow. And I was just like, what? Like, what is happening?
You should have said some shit like, sorry.
Oh, I feel like, I wonder. Yeah, I was like, oh, sorry, man, just trying to be helpful. I don't even know if Gabby realized. I think Gabby either totally didn't realize this happened or is like secondhand embarrassed, mortified for me that I apparently like got scolded by the TSA person, because I don't think she said anything to me about it. So either she doesn't know or is too embarrassed by my outlandish behavior in the TSA line to talk to me about it.
I feel like working in guest service, when people say that kind of shit to me now, I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, shut the fuck up. No, you're not. You're like, you pay like $15 an hour. Shut the fuck up. Let me just grab the thing and move on.
I know, right? I was like, oh, I didn't think it'd be that big of an issue. Like, I'm just, putting my bag on the thing.
Controlling the flow of traffic.
Yeah, controlling the flow of the bins. It's not even the flow of traffic. He's controlling the flow of the bins, man. He's got the bins under control and lockdown. That guy goes to SeaTac, 40 hours a week. He goes to SeaTac 40 hours a week, and he controls the bins, man. Those bins do not get out of line. No bins go missing. The bin flow is nice and tight under his watchful eyes. And our planes are safe at night because of it. Thank God. God bless America.
Those bins under control.
God
bless America.
God bless America, and God bless the Seattle Mariners. That's what I have to say. Amen.
Was that it?
Lord bless.
Is that the end of the podcast?
Yeah, is that the end of the podcast? I don't think. Are we done? Do you have anything else?
I don't know. I feel like we've hit most of the points we wanted to hit. We have successfully avoided the Colton Wong conversation, which is pretty much exactly
we need him to. I think we don't have the Colton Wong conversation until he's gone. We need him officially. We need him officially gone, and then we can have like the career, the life of Colton Wong as a Seattle Mariner, like retrospective.
I don't remember what happened last year, but we got 162 games of Adam Frazier, and there's a pretty decent chance that we're going to get 162 games of Colton Wong.
Oh God! Well, that'll be a fun end of the season pod. That maybe will give us a reason to actually like complete a season and not just like randomly disappear and then start a next season pretending like nothing happened. No, you don't think so? You don't think so? You don't think that's an option?
I just didn't know you'd aggressively call us out on our own show like that.
I'm my own worst enemy. I don't know what to tell you. I say et tu Brute, and I look and I'm also Brute. I'm the one with the knife and the one being stabbed. You didn't know this?
Such a niche.
No one hates me more than me.
No one hates me more than me.
Just gotta self-sabotage. That's how you know I'm a Mariners fan. Self-sabotage. That's the trait. That's our toxic trait that we share.
Just like the Seattle Mariners offense, nobody hates the Mariners more than the Seattle Mariners offense.
Yeah, they're self-sabotagers.
Nobody hates you just like you.
That's how we fit together so good, you know? That's why we're soulmates.
You know, we have a less than 1 in 1,000th chance to win the World Series right now.
So you're saying there's a chance. So you're saying that we're still in the game. It's not 0 is what you're saying, huh?
We have the same odds in Vegas to win the World Series right now as the Oakland Athletics do.
That just doesn't seem right.
Sorry.
That just doesn't seem right, though. That doesn't seem right in the sense that, like, yes, we're both unlikely to win the World Series at this point, but the exact same odds, I don't think so. That just, so there's like there's missed value there. I don't know how gambling works because, my job prohibits me from sports wagering, but there's got to be some value there. I don't want to offer gambling advice. I don't want to risk my job, but there's got to be something there, right? Some value there. I don't
know, man. We suck. We're the fourth best team in the second worst division in baseball.
Yeah. If we just say that we will pod every time the Mariners win a series, then we'll only have to pod like once every 2 months again.
That's a good way to put it.
It's just
if the Mariners win the next series, I'm going to say we need to pod tomorrow.
Yeah, that could be a thing. The next series they win.
Win another series, I might not talk to you for months.
That might be a thing. Wait, who's the next series against? When are we most likely to win a series again? Oh, the White Sox, dude. Honestly, though, so historically, I feel like the White Sox have really hurt us. Like they seem to have our number, but they're pretty bad this year. They're almost as bad at hitting as we are.
Oh man,
if not worse.
One of the things.
And then it's the Yankees, so we're not winning that series. Then it's the Orioles, we're not winning that series.
The MLB,
Nationals.
Writers have been writing about is how the White Sox are full and just need to go into full sell mode, and they just need to trade every single player on the team.
Yeah, and they should trade us Tim Anderson. They should trade us Tim Anderson.
Oh my god, I know, dude. I know. I want them to trade us Tim Anderson.
One for one swap. Tim Anderson, JP Crawford. I love JP though.
You're Caballero.
Okay, yeah. 1 for 1 swap. That's how they rebuild. That's the trade actually right there. 100%. If that trade is on the table, you take that. I mean, there's no way that's the only trade. You have to give something else. You have to give something else. But if they're in full send mode, like we send them money. Like money and Jose Caballero. So it's like, there's your future right there. There's your future right there. You're paying for it, and thank you for Tim Anderson.
Superstar cash considerations for Tim.
Wait, doesn't ESPN have like a trade simulator? ESPN baseball trade sim. Oh yeah, that baseball trade values. Oh wait, that's the NBA trade machine. That's not gonna work.
There's the MLB fantasy trade simulator.
Yeah. I tried to use that on you, and then it just didn't. It didn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gave us weird numbers. All right, I don't know how to do this, but that's probably not going to work. Something tells me they're not going to give away their best player for free.
What? So Luis Garcia for Teo, 1-1.
I feel like Teo's coming around though. You don't think he's got Gold Glove, or not Gold Glove, but Silver Slugger potential in him through the rest of the season?
I'm sorry. What did I say? Luis Garcia and then Luis Robert.
Yeah. I know you, man. I got you.
Okay. All right. Just cleared it up for the fans.
My old boss was so convinced that his last name was pronounced Robert. He went to the mat. Being like, no, it's a French pronunciation. It's a French pronunciation. It's Robert.
Say his name and it's awful. I can't. Every time I hear them.
But he has said, if you ask him, like in interviews, he says, "My name's Luis Robert."
No, I know, but people keep calling.
How do they get it wrong? I didn't know that. I've never watched some White Sox broadcast, so I didn't know that they got this wrong.
The White Sox nail it. I love watching White Sox games.
Oh, the White Sox, they get it right, huh?
Are so good. I love the White Sox cast. I find myself watching so many White Sox games. But every team that they face, if you go into the other team's broadcast, somebody goes, at least once a game, Luis Robert comes up to the plate. I'm like, who?
I'm gonna 100%. I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I think that Goldsmith is gonna nail it. He's gonna say Robert and not say Robert.
Maybe he'll even do a segment about how some people call him Robert.
Oh, that totally sounds like him. That totally sounds like something he would do. We're gonna find out. Hey, we're gonna find out as early as tomorrow. Series starts tomorrow against the White Sox.
Yeah, next time on Dragon Ball Z.
yeah. And then if we win the series, then we have to pod on Sunday. That's what you said.
Yep.
Dang.
That's true.
And if we don't win the series, then we're not gonna win one for a long time.
We might cook out another 60 podcasts by the end of the year.
Just every single series. It's like boom, boom, boom. Gotta do it. Oh, that'd be crazy. All right. Anyways, that's gonna be it for us. Pretty fun podcast, and if we win the series, then you'll see us in 3 days. If not, you can see us in 3 months again. That's just gonna be the way it is. Anyways, go M's.
Baseball, go M's. Actually, go Reds and Pirates.
Ugh, disgusting.
Way than Jolly Rogers.
There's a drive, deep right field, say goodbye. Hey, Lloyd, do some delivery for the truck.